Negative risk to reward trading has been circling in the online space. I've been seeing a lot of people use it. And in this video, we're going to talk about the benefits and the downside to using negative R&R in your trading and my personal thoughts around it and if I'm ever going to use it in the future. And I want to say this just to be clear, because I know a lot of people use negative R&R. This is not me going attacking anybody or going at anybody that uses it. I'm just giving my own personal opinion around it. There are so many different ways to be a trader and so many different ways to be profitable. And what works for one person may not work for another, just as a disclaimer there. So this is not an attack on anybody. It's just my personal opinion on what I think about the negative risk to reward trading. Before we get into this video, guys, be sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button to catch the daily live streams. We're live every single day right here on this channel. Day trading the NASDAQ, and we trade a real money account right here in front of you. Also, Tradefy is 30% off. If you want to skip that eval stage, go straight to a funded account. You can get 30% off using code JM. Lock it in. Send me a screenshot in Discord of you using that code, and that will enter you for a giveaway for a free 150K straight to funded account. Last thing before we jump in the video, I am doing a free day trading video course series right here on YouTube. If you go to my playlist on YouTube, you can see the free day trading course playlist there. You can just cycle through all those videos. We're uploading every single week, twice a week, once a week, whatever, to that playlist. Be sure to check it out, fam. With that said, let's get into the video. All right, we're going to jump into the negative risk to reward trade. There are so many people using this strategy. We're going to jump into a chart here, and I'm just going to kind of give you my overall thoughts on this particular strategy. Because listen, like again, there's no real there's no one size fits all in trading. One thing works for somebody and that may not work for somebody else. For me personally, and just to get this out of the way early, I don't like the negative risk to reward. I don't think it's profitable long term. I think it is good for very short term trading, but over the long haul, you are going to probably lose a lot of money, just in my opinion, because no trader is immune to having red days, right? And when you're using negative risk to reward, that one single red day can wipe out multiple green days. And that's something you don't want, because all it takes is one big losing streak for you to lose your entire account. And so that's why I personally don't like negative risk to reward. I guess it really just kind of depends on the individual trader strategy, what they're using, how they're using it, how wide of a stop, how short of a take profit. It really just kind of depends, right? And so I'm just going to walk you through kind of what I'm looking at here. I'm on TradingView. This is a replay mode on TradingView here. And to give you an idea of what I'm talking about here, a lot of people using the negative risk to reward, when they do, they're entering positions. Just say this is a buy order, right? Their stop loss is going to be a lot wider than their take profit. So they may risk, I don't know, let's say 510, right? They're going to risk 510 to only make, just say 200, right? So there is a big gap between taking profit at 200 and losing 500, right? And so when you have these large risk parameters that don't really give you much profit in return, again, just take two trades, right? Let's take two trades as an example. Trade one, say you lose this, you're down 500. Trade two, you lose again, you're down 1,000. Now flip that and say you win this trade, you're up 200. You do it again, you're up 200. That's $400. So you're risking off two trades. You could have been down $1,000, but if you win, you're only making 400. To me, that just personally doesn't make sense, because what if, right? Let's just say that you go on here. Let me do this. Let's close out of this real quick. All right, let's close out of this, get this brush tool, and let's just draw this is gonna be a calendar. That is a poor calendar, right? And so this is week 1, week 2, all right. Week 3 and 4. That is a horrible calendar. Don't judge me for my drawing, all right? I'm not an artist, all right? I'm not an artist, right? So let's just say, for example, right, you're doing the negative risk to reward. Let's say on, I don't know, day 1 here, you're down 500, right? So you're down 500, right? Day 2, you make 1,000, right? Awesome. Now you're up 500. But here, you're down 500 again, right? And now you're break even here, and then you start going on losing streaks, right? Was that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? That's 5 days. So then you start going on those losing streaks, right? You lost here. Next week, lost here. Maybe you won here, right? Maybe you won here, but now you lost here. Because you had so many red days, that's probably going to blow your account, right? It's just not, to me, it's not sustainable. While it could work on the absolute short term, maybe like in a month or 2 months, over a long haul, I don't really see this being a profitable strategy, right? And then again, also there are favorable, I will say this, there are favorable market conditions for this type of trading strategy, right? In a trending market, you don't really want to be trading negative R&R. You don't. In a trending market, it's not going to work out well for you. I think in a consolidated market, when we are ranging, right? Just take like this range here, for example, right? When we are ranging, I could see a negative R&R playing because you're not dealing with all this upside, right? Or all this downside that you have to play against, okay? You're dealing with a ranging market where you could probably take a long down here, maybe set a stop down here. Since we're ranging, we're probably not going to come down. You could probably take a quick scalp to the upside, right? And then like vice versa on the upside here, right? On the upside, whereas we're probably could take a sell here, right? Target maybe this, have a stop loss above the highs here because we're just ranging. We're probably not going to break the highs. Like you could probably do that. Consolidating, ranging market conditions are generally more favorable for this type of strategy. But when you do get into those trending markets, man, it gets really scary. Like you could really lose a lot of trades doing this. Now, again, just to reemphasize, there are probably, I mean, for my particular strategies, right? The strategy that I use, negative R&R doesn't make sense. I will lose. Like it doesn't make sense for me to be a negative R&R trader, right? But if you have strategies around negative R&R, right, that can work, I think that can give you a higher probability if you have a very specific strategy, not just looking at the market and saying, oh, we're ranging or we're going to take negative R&R trades, like very specific strategies, whether you use volume profile or what would be value areas, things like that. I think at that point, when you're really getting into the weeds of what strategy works for you, I think negative R&R can work there, but I wouldn't use discretion, right? Using discretion on negative R&R, you are going to absolutely probably get smoked. Like you have to have something that is very, very strict and rule-based that you follow that helps you win these trades. Because again, you can have a high win rate, right? Like, listen, you can have a high win, take a high frequency of trades, have a very high win rate because your take profit is so small in comparison to your stop loss. But when that stop loss starts hitting over and over and over again, it's going to become a problem because again, that loss is dang near double what your take profit is. And so when you have a lot of those consecutively, that can really blow, especially if you're in a prop firm account, that can really blow your accounts, right? It really can. I would suggest if you are going to use negative R&R, and this is just my suggestion, and everybody has their own opinions, this is mine. If you're going to use negative R&R, you better have an account that has a substantial amount of capital in it that you can withstand those losing streaks, right? And for me personally, even having an account that's is a substantial in capital, if I go on a losing streak, you mean to tell me like if I lose, just say here, let's do this, right? Let's go back to the calendar here. So let's just draw a really crappy calendar. Okay. Oh, get my brush tool. Just draw a really crappy calendar. All right, this one might be a little better. Almost perfectly square, chat. Almost perfectly square. Okay. These aren't very good, but let's just say like negative R&R, right? Let's just say you make here on the first week, you end up making, let's just say 1,000, right? We'll keep it a nice even number. Let's just say you end up making 1,000, right? On week one, but then you go on a losing streak on week two. Now you're down 1,500, right? Okay. So now you're down 500 total. Then you lose this week. Now you're down $2,000. Okay. So now you're down 2,500. Using negative R&R and taking such small trades, you mean you got to climb back out and say, oh, well, this trade, like I'm going to take, 10 trades. Cause again, on negative R&R trades, you have a high frequency of trades, right? So you got to take 10 trades worth 200 each, right? And you're down $2,000 at this point. So I got to take 10 trades this day. I probably didn't take 12, 15, whatever. It just sounds mentally exhausting to have a small take profit when you are down so much, right? From having a negative R&R and having to climb back out of that. That sounds very mentally exhausting and energy draining. And I don't know. My personal opinion, I think this is I'm just gonna say it again. I'm not attacking anybody. I'm not going at anybody because I know a lot of people use it and some people are making it work for them for now. But to me personally, I think it's a horrible strategy. I really do. I think it's very, very bad. And when not used correctly, if there is a correct way to use it, I think can be very horrific for your account, because chances are you're probably going to blow it, especially if you have your own personal capital in an account and you try to use negative R&R. I think that could be just very a tough thing, man. A tough thing. Again, this is my personal opinion. Me personally, I don't condone negative R&R. I think you should always have a positive return on the trades that, now let me rephrase that. Not positive return, but a positive expectancy, right? On your trades, and not have to dip negative onto your losses, and your stop loss be a lot more negative than what you're expecting to make on the trade. If that makes sense. I know I kind of jibber jabbered that a little bit, but your trades should always have more of a positive than a negative, right? Always. I mean, just my opinion. I think that's more sustainable over the long haul. But I want to emphasize this too. A lot of people lose money in trading, right? A lot of people. I mean, a lot of people. Almost everybody loses money trading, right? And so I understand the idea of going against the grain a little bit and trying something new. I really do. I understand going against the grain, but I think there are ways to still go with the grain, but find a way going with the grain to make trading work for your own. All right, make trading work for yourself. I don't think you have to flip your whole entire trading upside down and go negative R&R. That's just me. That's my own personal opinion. You guys do with that what you will. Me personally, I will probably never use negative R&R. I don't ever intend on it. I'm pretty sure there have been maybe some trades where I have been in more drawdown than what I took profit on. Not that I planned it that way, just kind of how it happened. But I personally won't ever be using negative R&R. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Are you guys going to be using this strategy? I know a lot of people are using it. It's trending all over. I've been seeing on YouTube, on Twitter, and this and that. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you guys are going to use that, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on your way out, fam. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.